You tuned in to the Iceman Show. I'm your host, the Iceman. More bounce to the ounce, and I say what counts. Don't nobody go home till the fat man gets it in. What's happening, chocolate people? Coming to you live from Iceman Studios here in the Northwest. You know how we do it. Decide to get at y'all on a Friday evening. Taking a break from writing these songs and then writing my second book, The Dating Bible. Working on getting that finished by June. If you haven't gotten it, go get it. Here's my first book, The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1. Get it at asktheiceman.com, or you can get it at amazon.com. You can get it in paperback format, tablet format, and then also Kindle format. So all formats, you can get it. Okay? So go to amazon.com, or you can get it directly from me. You can get the autographed copy of the paperback directly from me at asktheiceman.com. All you got to do is just scroll down to the add to cart button, and then you can go from there. All right. Wanted to talk about a couple of things. I'm not going to be on here. We ain't doing no 2-3 hour thing tonight. We're not doing that because I got things I got to do. And I got to get ready for tomorrow's Player Circle podcast. If you're not hip, you need to get hip. We do triple. This is the only place here on the Iceman Show and the Player Circle podcast on Saturday, every Saturday. Now, I took the Christmas vacation off because I wanted to take a little mini vacation to get out of town. And I took some of my music equipment with me, and I did get a lot done. One of my main singles that's going to be on the CD is that's the song that's taking the most work because I'm doing the most production on that song. And if you could probably see to my left, your right, the MPC X, that's my workhorse. This is like having a mini digital studio, at home or wherever you go. So even let me show y'all real quick. That's some of my keyboards. I got other keyboards over in my other bedrooms on the floor. I don't set all my stuff up because I don't necessarily need it. But my main keyboards are right there. And then the MPCX, that's what you see lighted up. That thing, if you got any sons or daughters that want to be aspiring music production people, you need to get this machine. Yeah, it might set you back $3,000 or more because they're extremely popular, but at the same time, you might be able to get a deal on one. I got mine brand new. I don't buy used music equipment unless it's certain keyboards that I had back in the day. But anyway, that thing right there is like a mini studio. I can hook up any type of instrument to it. I can hook up my bass or my guitar. You see my bass and my guitar over there. You can hook that up to it and play directly into it. You can hook I got my microphones. I don't have my microphone set up because I ain't ready to do no vocals. But I can do everything at home and then just take that machine to the studio, run that thing off with the MIDI controller, and just go to Pro Tools and start hooking it up. So today, you have no excuse. If you're supposed to be a music producer, you ain't got no, or a songwriter, you ain't got no excuse. You really don't. You don't have an excuse. You don't have an excuse to not be able to work at home. because rather than waste money at a studio paying $300 an hour for a studio, you could be at the house getting a lot of your pre-production done. So I advise everybody to get that popping. You digs? Anyway, there's a lot going on out here on these streets. And I know that everything looks like it's a mess here in America. And I can assure you that it is. And it's not because of Trump. Remember this, Trump is a symptom, not a problem. He is a symptom of what's already here. And a lot of us do not want to take the time to apply critical thinking skills in order to be a part of this cesspool whirlpool that is got a lot of us circling around in that whirlpool, and sooner or later we're going to go down the toilet. And I'm going to get into some ways that you can avoid this. If you're not following us on Twitter, go over to Twitter and put in the Iceman Show at Mr. Freeze and follow us on Twitter. And Instagram, you can follow us at the Iceman Show. Let me put that in there. Did I put that in there right? Yeah. So go ahead, put that in there, and you can go right over there to Twitter, add that, put that in there, and follow me or follow us on Twitter as well as Instagram. That way you're in the know. And when we broadcast, because remember, this is the only place you can get the triple cast experience. Tomorrow, the Players Circle podcast, we're gonna be on blogtalkradio.com. And here's the guest call in for tomorrow. Let me put that in the chat room here on Facebook. Let me put that in there. Okay. That's the guest call-in number right there. So tomorrow, we're going to be doing the Player Circle podcast tomorrow. But again, we're going to be on blogtalkradio.com, and that number right there is the guest call-in number. So write that on a sticky note, write that number on there. And then at 1 p.m. Pacific time, you can call into the show. I advise everybody to call in if you want to weigh in. Also, we're going to be on my other Facebook page. I don't do the Player Circle podcast on this page anymore because I don't get any support. Okay, I don't why. I'm not gonna say why. I know why. I'm not gonna say why, but that's cool. But those brothers who want to hear some up-to-date commentary and get some solutions on dating for the Player Circle every Saturday, go to my other Facebook page, which is KJ_FORDE. Go over there, add me as a friend. I still got room. Add me as a friend. And then that way, when I do my Facebook Live over there at 1 p.m. Pacific time, wherever you're at in the country or the world, you need to, take into account that's Pacific time. Okay. So if you're Eastern time, you need to, be on platform, either Facebook Live on my other Facebook page, or add me or subscribe to the Mad Voodoo Man channel. Now, if you look at the what I posted in the subject heading, the Mad Voodoo Man, just copy and paste the Mad Voodoo Man channel on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe to our channel. And that way, when we do, if we're on all three platforms, if you don't have access to one or two of those, you can at least be on one of them. And those of you who have, you know, cars that are, I think, 2013 to 2014 and newer, you can listen, you can be on all three platforms, one of those three platforms in your vehicle as you sit in rush hour traffic. So that's how you get at the Iceman. So make sure you're in the house. Don't meet me there, beat me there. What up, Herschel? What up, baby? What's up, baby boy? How you doing, man? How's your family? Hey, dog. I'm gonna be coming to Austin later on this year, and I'm definitely gonna shoot you a text or call you, and we can go out there and chop it up, man. Get us some, you know, get us something to eat. Hey, you know, my treat, and we can go ahead and catch up, young blood. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor and hit the like button. Hit the like button before we get started. Hit the like button so so folks will know that you were here and that you support the cause. If you would like to support us financially, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to I put the link in there for the nonprofit, but you can also go to my asktheiceman.com page. Scroll down to the donate button, the donate button. Yeah, brother can't talk. Go down to the donate button, and from there you can either set up a recurring donation. And by the way, this I own a 501c3 nonprofit. It is in effect. You can go to irs.gov and search nonprofits, and it will come up listed in Texas. Okay. We're nationwide, but that's the last place that before I moved up here that I paid my taxes. And then when I pay my taxes this year, the state that I'm living in right now will be on there. But I just, you know, you guys know I just moved up here last year. Well, the year before last from Texas. So anyway, The Fall of America. There's a book. There's a book called The Fall of America, written by the late, great, Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if you study with the Nation of Islam, that's one of the first books you need to, they're going to have you read. I have that book. I didn't finish reading it because some of the book wasn't relevant. I got through half of the book and it just wasn't making sense to me because at that time, this was the late 90s. So it didn't apply because that book was written in the 60s. Although the first half of the book does apply. But the fall of America is apparent and it is upon us. And let me get into that really quickly. And we're talking about macroeconomics. So those of you who didn't do well as undergrad in macroeconomics, hopefully I can run through some stuff to help you understand today's stock market. I'm talking about our stock market, Wall Street. I'm not talking about, you know, the Tokyo or Hong Kong or any of these other foreign markets, because you have to understand our Wall Street drives their Wall Street. So when our Wall Street falls through the floor, theirs does too, which is what happened in 2007 and 8 and 9. Anyway, America has been falling for years because there's no way that you can keep a sinking ship afloat. When, you know, there's one thing when you have a boat with a couple little holes in it, you're not going to sink right away, but you do need to get to the shore. But you got a little time depending on how big the boat, how big your boat is, and how big the hole is. Well, the problem with this country is that a lot of us are blinded by what you see in the media, but not by reality. And a lot of you are now starting to feel the crunch, especially those of you who are federal employees, who are non-essential federal employees. Now, if you don't understand what I've been talking about in these live streams that I've been doing for the last almost year here on Facebook Live and YouTube, I don't know what to tell you, because the fall of America is started years ago when we started shipping manufacturing production operations over to South Korea, China, Vietnam, Thailand, and now India. And well, some stuff we've been doing in the Philippines, but the Philippines is not real conducive politically now, but also geographically in long term. So we don't have a whole lot. We got a lot of, we have customer service operations with a lot of these hotel chains and a lot of the banks in Philippines, because they route calls to the Philippines or they route them to India. So to save money, a lot of corporations have been doing that. And that is also a sign of the times. That is a sign that things are falling off. Okay? Now, when you look at how big China's economy is, they're either equal to us or they have surpassed us in the last couple years. And again, due to us moving, because see, what they have fooled a lot of Americans is they've said, okay, those of us who supposed to be considered the talented 10th. I hold 2 master's degrees. I hold a master's in business and I hold a master's in social work with an emphasis in psychopathology and psychotherapy. And the one thing, okay, I saw something on my iPad that popped up. The one thing that has happened is the media has done their work. The mainstream media has done their job fooling you into believing that manufacturer production jobs, blue collar jobs, and those types of operations, those systems of production, we don't need that. We just need a place to sell it, whether it's e-commerce or retail. That's what they've told us the last 20 years in the media with these commercials. I'll say Madison Avenue. Okay? And that's a lie. Because when you get rid of your manufacturing, you're at the mercy of the host country. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So instead of China being subservient to us the way they were back 30, 40, 50 years ago, now they have surpassed us. Now they're over in Africa trying to destroy Africa and raping Africa for resources. And some of these African countries, with especially not Nigeria, they have been allowing the Chinese to run roughshod all through Africa, stealing, signing, 60-40 deals on oil and bauxite and all this other stuff, all these other natural resources. And now America's over there trying to talk about, oh, we got some terrorists over here. Ain't no terrorists over there. Any terrorists we got over there, really any terrorists we got anywhere, you might want to blame CIA for that. because they are the ones that train these people and give them weapons and money. Then they turn around and the mainstream media turns around and say, oh, we got a bunch of terrorists over there. Then you fall for it. And then next thing you know, here they are sending poor Caucasians, Latinos, Native Americans, Asians, and blacks over there to get their behind shot off. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So now we have created a monster in China. And now America's trying to scramble and try to put billions of dollars into AI and robotics in order to do operations that normally took a handful of people to do. I'll give you an example. I don't live too far from Seattle. And if you go up there, Whole Foods is experimenting with manless retail stores where the only way, and I think it may be either you have to be an Amazon Prime member. I think you got to be an Amazon Prime member because you can buy everything online. And then when you go to the particular bin where your stuff is, it's either going to be already bagged for you, or I think it's going to be bagged for you. I think that all of that is set up ahead of time. And the people that actually run the place are back in behind those look like vending machines. So they never have any contact with the customer. And if you try to steal, they will lock you in there. You can't get in there anyway because you got to have a specific code that only you have. So there ain't going to be too much thievery going on. You feel me? They're already doing that. There's a McDonald's around about 2 blocks from me that has computerized ordering. You don't even have to go over there to the counter. You can walk right over to this kiosk and manually, I think it only takes credit cards and debit cards. You can order everything right there. It's a little keyboard right there. And it asks you, how do you want your burger? You want a fish stamp? Or you don't want no Thousand Island dressing on there? Okay, cool. You don't want any cheese on your quarter pounder? Okay, cool. You can do all that. They're already trying to eliminate manning. When I say manning, that's an old word from that's a human resource word. After a while, I'm telling you right now, there might be 1 or 2 people in these fast food restaurants to manage so that the place don't burn down. But you can best believe it's going to be behind a door or a glass. There won't be no more robbing. Won't be no more rolling up to the drive-through trying to, pulling out your gat, trying to get at somebody for some money. Ain't gonna be none of that, dog. Ain't gonna be none of that. And that's coming. And I'm talking 3 to 5 years, if not less. And see what they do is they try out a lot of that stuff on the West Coast, and then it'll go once those corporations have worked the bugs out, then they will implement it through all their locations around the country, if not the world. And all of you folks out here who want to clown around in school and joke around in high school, smoking cigarettes under the bleachers, having sex, getting pregnant, getting people pregnant, being a clown, being an idiot, fighting the teachers, doing whatever it is you think you big enough to do, and dropping out of high school or graduating from high school with nothing, which is what most of us get, especially those of us who live in Black society and Black areas, you're going to find yourself hurting, dog, and you ain't going to be able to get SSI. You ain't going to be able to get welfare. You ain't going to be able to get Section 8. And all that stuff is coming to an end. And the first indication is what you see right now with Trump holding up that budget. You can sit up there and hate him all you want, but who put him in there? After 8 years of Obama expanding all the gutter society benefits, like expanding Section 8, welfare, TANF, SNAP benefits, giving illegal aliens free welfare so they can come over here and have an anchor baby and take advantage of our resources that all of us hardworking, tax-paying Americans put forth for those folks who are born here to get those temporary benefits. See, welfare was never designed for long-term use. It was only there as a safety net. So if a woman, if she divorced and there was nothing for her, she can get on welfare for 6 months, get that. You got cash, you got AFDC back then. Today it's TANF. Back then it was an entitlement it wasn't an entitlement program. If you didn't have any dignity, I'm talking about those of us who live in major cities like LA, Chicago, New York, Miami. When you live in these major cities in like Dallas and Houston, they make try to get welfare benefits a task in and of itself. And it's humiliating. And if you're willing to give away your dignity for an EBT card and WIC and TANF and Section 8, and you're willing to sit there all day and be talked down to, be talked down to by a social services worker, then you walked out of there and hopefully within 30 days, you got your benefits. Those days are over with, where women could just come down there and have all these babies and be purposely becoming a single mom and having all these illegitimate children and just going down there. Well, I just get on welfare. That's an option. And going down there, getting on that welfare, well, it ain't that simple. Because back in the day when, back in the 80s, you can get, $1,000 cash, $1,500 cash, AFDC. You get, you got your housing voucher. You got food stamps they were giving women like $1,500 a month food stamps. WIC. All that good stuff. Hey, my ex-wife said, when we were struggling college students and we were getting some benefits, we only getting medical and food stamp. That was it. We weren't getting nothing. They wouldn't give us no money. Talk about, well, you got a husband. He can just go out there and do this. My ex was like, what you talking about? My husband is in and out of the hospital from serving in Iraq. What you talking about? He's got health problems. But they'll give Sancho and Maria all the benefits they want, though. See, you have to understand. See, under Obama and Pelosi and Schumer and all these all these Democrats, see, y'all think the Democrats love you because they give you all these gutter trinkets. And what all they're doing is setting you up to be destroyed by a president like Trump. Because you have to understand, if you got all these illegals coming over here to get on welfare, because they ain't coming here for nothing else, they ain't getting married. You know why they don't get married? Because you ain't going to get no welfare. Because they're going to be like, you better tell Sancho to get up and go work then. So a lot of these illegal aliens come over here and have gutter sex and then go out here and have these babies. And you have to ask yourself, if Obama expanded all that, Who's paying for this? How long is it sustainable? And I've been saying I've been doing this show almost 10 years. I've been doing the Iceman Show podcast for 10 years, for 9 years, almost 10 years. 6 professionally means, you know what that means. And I have been telling, especially young black men and women, go to the military. If you can't pay for college, getting a college degree is a waste of your time. What you see a lot of brothers and sisters doing is taking their kids to these entrepreneur camps where these smart little black girls and boys are like, well, mommy, I want to start this kind of business. And then you go to this camp, you go to this thing. Yeah, you got to spend some money. You can't come up in there with no EBT card. You're going to have to save your money instead of buying red bottoms and all this other stuff, wasting all your money, putting stuff on your credit card. Use your money for something wise and take your kids to these entrepreneur camps so that your kids will learn how to be an entrepreneur instead of going to college, getting a useless degree in psychology or gender studies or women's studies or sociology. And then you go out here and all the best job you get is being a customer service rep making $15, $16 an hour working at Chase Bank. You could have got that job without a degree. Now you got thousands of dollars in debt that you got to pay for at some point. So I'm telling young brothers and sisters, take accounting 1 and 2, take intro to business, go to a community college where it only going to cost you a couple $100. Take accounting 1 and 2, take intro to business, take macro and micro econ, take political science. Those are the only classes you need to take if you're going to be trying to start a general business or e-business. If it ain't STEM related, then that's what you need to do. Now, if you plan to go into STEM, yeah, you need at least a bachelor's degree, but you also gonna get paid. And that's why I keep telling people, if you sitting up here going to school to anything other than business or anything other than business and or accounting outside of STEM, you're wasting your time in the new economy. You're in the Trump economy. Okay? And it's far more destructive and deadly than the Reagan economy 30-some years ago. Because we're living in a different time. White supremacy is becoming more lean and more mean. The signs that America, the white global white supremacy in general and domestic white supremacy specifically is falling and imploding is by the fact that the America and Europe is running out of hustles. The first hustle they came up with was the transatlantic slave trade. Then there was stealing natural resources from Africa and other parts of the world. Then they slowed that down for a minute. But you have to understand, we don't really want to keep tapping into our natural resources. Why? Because it's destructive. Whenever they dig in the ground doing this fracking, that land is useless. After they do all that fracking, that's why you notice they ain't talking about that big boom, that big natural gas and oil boom up there in North Dakota that they had a couple of years ago. That's died out. They were hired. They were making so much money up there back about 3 or 4 years ago that they were hiring people on the spot with no experience getting paid $20 an hour. But there wasn't no women up there. If you were a dude and you went up there, so all the pimps and all the prostitutes start moving in. What did that do to the local police department and sheriff department? They were overwhelmed. So now what America and Europe is doing now is the terrorists, first it was communism. That was an excuse to go to Vietnam and Korea. Now the hustle is terrorism the last 30 years. And if you do your research, if you look at all the so-called terrorists around the world, every last one of them were trained by the CIA. So you have to ask yourself, how can these people ain't going to prison? Because they the ones taught them how to make IUDs. We taught them how to do that because we taught them how to do it so they could fight Russia when Russia was trying imperialism. You see, the Afghans got them out of there, but the Afghans started losing. So Charlie Wilson, I ain't talking about the singer Charlie Wilson either, but the late Congressman Charlie Wilson helped get them weapons so that they could fight the Russians. That was a proxy war. Now the new hustle is beat the Chinese in Africa, on the continent of Africa, in stealing resources, because the iPhone and the iPad and the Samsung phone and every last one of these really technologically advanced smartphones, they need certain minerals that can only be found in places like the Congo. Okay? Or other African nations. Djibouti. So everybody's rushing over there now to get these sweetheart deals from these African nations. And some of them are saying, we don't want your money. Well, because what the Chinese did, they went to Namibia. I think it was Namibia. They went to the president of Namibia and said, look, we'll invest $300 million and build you a new airport. And the president of Namibia said, no, thanks, get out my country. South Africa, President Malema is already setting up shop so that they could take that land back from the white supremacist Dutch and Brits who stole their country 400 years ago. They're reappropriating land back to the Africans who had it before. So as you can see, it's starting to become lights out for white supremacy. And everybody's feeling the crunch. And now that America has China on their back and Russia on their back, because Russia and China always gang up against us. So now China think they're going to start pulling some imperialism over there in Africa. And Nigeria is one of the main countries that's letting them run up in there raw dog style with no condom. Do your research if you think I'm just blowing smoke. You digs? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to AskTheIceman.com. Please scroll down to the donate button. Please make a $10 donation today to help the cause. And basically what I'm doing right now is I always start fundraising in January for the clothing and book bag drive that we do from January to August. Okay. So we always do that every year. So if you wouldn't mind, your $10 donation is 100% tax deductible. China's on our backs. Russia's on our backs. And what Trump is trying to do, slowly withdrawing troops out of mainly is Delta and Navy SEALs and Rangers that are over there. They you know, that's too that's got too many insurgents over there. So they're not gonna stick a whole bunch of poorly trained troops over there. Although in staging areas, they have, you know, the mess and all that stuff, and, you know, all the support people. But the people who are actually engaging ISIS or whatever terrorists they're supposed to be fighting in Syria. But as you can see, Trump is starting to pull people out of there. Why? Because it's a waste of money. And the only reason why they're over there is because Assad won't allow the Rothschilds international banking tentacles to come into his country. The number one reason why they keep messing with, let me tell you what, the reason why they keep messing with North Korea, Syria, and Iran has nothing to do with terrorism. As it has nothing to do with a threat to America, American lives. It has to do with banking. The Rothschilds are worth $300 and something billion, and they are the main family that owns the international banking systems. Those are the last three countries who have blocked them from their banking systems. Y'all see where I'm going with this? See, rather than sitting there and watching TV and believing everything you see on TV just because it's on CNN and CNN is left-leaning, or MSNBC is left of center, they're all liars, because who owns them? Look at the parent companies that own all of these media outlets. Some of them are government contractors. You're going to sit there and look at them to get your news and believe everything they say just because they're smiling and they're Caucasian? Come on, man. Black people think you can vote your way out of this mess. You can't. I don't care who you vote for, whether it's Republicans or Democrats. They're two sides to the same coin. So whether you vote for Bernie Sanders to become president, or any of these other fakers that they put up there, Beto O'Rourke or whoever they put up there, all of them are against you. If they don't have a black agenda for 2019 going forward into 2020, then why are you voting for them? If they don't specifically say, we have a black agenda and this is what it is, we're going to give new black college grads X amount of dollars for business loans. We're going to give black men and women who have been wronged by the criminal. Hey, y'all, YouTube, give me a second. Seems like we Facebook. Um, God, this is crazy. YouTube, we're gonna get this popping in a minute. Hold on for a second. Facebook stop working. You tune into the Iceman Show. I'm your host, the Iceman. Getting back to the podcast. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We had that was on Facebook. That wasn't on me. That was on. Bullshit. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep going here. And those of you who can come back into the room, I want to apologize for the glitch in. It's on Facebook's part. It's nothing I did. Every now and then we have these issues where right in the middle of a live stream, it'll just stop. So I apologize to my YouTube family, the Iceman Show family who are listening. Sorry about that. Facebook just keeps crashing. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going here. So as far as the fall of America is concerned, the first indications of the fall, and when we say the fall of America, we're really saying the fall of white supremacy. Because you have to understand something. Whenever a country spends more than it takes in, that's just you're on your way to insolvency. And the only reason why our country's not totally broke is because they keep printing money. They keep printing fiat currency over there at the mint. Obama did it. He put more new bills into the system. That's what they do. And you can do that when you don't follow the gold standard. We don't follow the gold standard anymore. So we're at the mercy of Wall Street. They're gambling. We're at the mercy of people who know that this is a sinking ship, and yet they keep allowing it to sink. As a matter of fact, they keep poking more holes in it, in the hull of the ship. But the first indications of that is outspending more than your revenue. And so they went and lowered taxes, which didn't make any sense on the corporate side or the personal side. And so what happens when you do that is on the commercial side, companies, when they get a tax break, they don't go and spend that. See, in business school and in economics class, they teach you all this. They teach you all this nonsense that's not even what America does in those instances. So you get all of this stuff and you get all of this information, you get all these case studies in college. And hey, what up? What up, my man? You get all this stuff in college that teaches you this is the classic way of dealing with this problem. But in reality, they don't do any of that. That's why when you leave college and you go out here in the real world, you get your behind kicked because the real world is something totally different. You have to ask yourself, what moron Congress and president would sit up here and give a commercial tax break? So companies are not paying taxes anyway. I was listening to this cat that live in Louisiana. He said, man, all the oil companies, BP, Shell, Chevron, they got refineries here in Louisiana and they pay no taxes. They already don't pay any taxes. And in economics class and they tell you that when companies pay lower taxes, they take those savings and they spend more money on machinery. They spend more money hiring people and so that is supposed to bring more unemployed people into the employment roles, and that generates people spend. Those new employees are going to spend money. Those new employees are no longer on welfare. They're no longer on SSI or whatever it is they're on. So they're not getting money from the state and the federal government. So now that they're working and they're supposed to be making a livable wage, Now, what those people are doing is what these companies are doing is they're taking those savings and they're sending the money to foreign banks. They're sending it over there to Swiss bank over there in Switzerland or HSBC or any other or to the Cayman Islands. They're stashing that money or they're taking that money they're saving and they're paying out dividend checks to their shareholders, because by law that's what they're supposed to do, is pay their shareholders. So what they're doing is taking that money, they're pocketing it. Some of these companies aren't paying taxes anyway. And then what they're going to do is they're paying dividends out. They're sending out dividend checks. Or they're giving their shareholder, I think the shareholder has the option to reinvest that dividend. Y'all see where you see that money's never going to go back into the economy. Why? Because the middle class is the group of Americans who keeps this country afloat. And if they're paying all the taxes and the middle class is shrinking, what is happening to our tax base? That's why they're wasting so much money sending all these supposedly sending all these spaceships out to see if Caucasian people can live on Mars or one of these other planets. That's why you think they waste money on that? But these are also the same people who claim we went to the moon once. And the other time we just went around the moon and came back. These are the folks that can't land on the moon a second time, but they can send something out there in space to go all the way to Mars. Like I said, people, I'm one of the few Americans. I don't wear a tinfoil hat, but I can tell you right now, I don't believe any of this stuff. But they're scrambling around trying to find a way to keep white supremacy alive. And now it's on its deathbed. Because like they say, like I was taught, that the reign of the white supremacists is their time is up right now. Their time is up. And that's why they are acting desperate by running around here killing black people, talking about wasting money, talking about building a wall, all this other stuff. And yet the Democrats have been letting them people over, the Democrats and the Republicans have been letting those people over here wink, wink, wink. They've been letting them folks over here for the past 40 years to supplant and decimate the black labor force. And they've been doing it ever since Vietnam. And only the real black folks have been paying attention to that. The rest of us have been just having a good time turning up. And now that Trump has shut down the EBT cards, and now people are I'm starting to see all kind of articles online where black women, all these welfare single moms are out here complaining about getting kicked off of Section 8. So Uncle Ben Carson is now sending out notices to all these state level and county level Section 8 agencies. And they're saying, look, you tell all these lazy single moms that they got 60 days to start paying full market value rent. Full market value rent, which means you got, if that 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, you only paying $80 a month for Section 8 while you sit on your behind while they subsidize you using your lady parts as a small business and hourly motel. Those days are over with. And having all these illegitimate children by Walmart Tavius and Crime Martavius. Those days are over with. That's why, if you notice, teen pregnancy in the Black community in the last 20 years have dropped 52%. Did y'all know that? One of the main reasons is because these young sisters are looking at their trifling mamas and saying, I don't want to end up like you. I don't want to end up 40 and 50 years old on plentyofat.com trying to get a man because you desperate. Single moms don't get husbands. And if they do get husbands, they're simps. They're lying simps. We cannot, this as a country financially, we cannot continue to have a shrinking middle class who pays the brunt of taxes, federal and state taxes in this country. You can't, that's why why you think all these states are legalizing weed? Huh? They're killing two birds with one stone. First of all, they're putting a lot of people to sleep with that weed. And the second thing they're doing is bringing in badly needed income. That's why sooner or later, the federal government is going to, if nothing else, at the least, they're going to have to take marijuana off the Schedule I narcotics list. They're going to have to take it off of there and move it down to Schedule III, Schedule IV, because it's harmless. And they know it is. And the only reason why they've demonized marijuana in this country for the past 100 years is because cocaine first was the drug of choice amongst partying Caucasians in this country. Now it's secret. Now they do their lines in secret. But back in the 20s and 30s, when cocaine was, why you think Coca-Cola is called Coca-Cola? Because they used to put cocaine in it. Then they replaced cocaine with caffeine. Man, y'all need to do y'all research, man. And they demonized marijuana because they were making so much money off cocaine. Then it was heroin. Then it was opioids. And if you want to understand what's going on with opioids, read books on the what they call the opiate triangle or something like that. How they got the Chinese got the Chinese hooked on drugs. The opium wars. Read books on that stuff, man. Let me tell you something. The drug manufacturers are the main ones pushing them keeping marijuana, demonizing marijuana. The pharmaceutical companies, because the opioids, they've been making trillions of dollars off them drugs, man. And they don't care that people's lives have been destroyed over it. Either they lost their life, or a child has lost their life, or a wife or a husband or boyfriend or girlfriend. They don't care. And these people are not going anywhere near jail or courtroom or jail. They'll never be prosecuted for anything. And yet they're the biggest drug dealers in the world. But yet they locking up Martavius and them for having 5 rocks in their pocket. Man, come on, man. Let's get real. Let's get real. Let's have a serious conversation here. Do you really think we were going to continue to we were going to continue with Obama administrative economic policies? Yeah, did he help get us out, help push the economy past what was allowed to happen? Well, actually, Bill Clinton was the reason why the country collapsed the way it did economically, and the world, the global economy. It was because of Bill Clinton. It wasn't because of Bush. Bush was just, he was like, I'm president. I'm gonna let I'm gonna let the homies do what they want to do. And as you saw, in some places, gas was almost $6 a gallon. Because the oil people, his oil homies, he hooked them up and they got filthy rich, as well as the Brits who own Shell and BP. But now white supremacy is on the ropes and America is broke. And what they are trying to do at this point, ladies and gentlemen, is find a way to find somebody to subjugate and destroy. And to exploit. And now that China is, as their economy is just as big as ours, if not bigger, now America is in free fall because there's no, and as I said in the first live stream that got ended a few minutes ago, you have to look at it this way. America can't keep spending all this money and not getting a return, because you have to understand the main reason why Congress has been allowing these illegal aliens to come into this country illegally is for one reason: to circumvent the black workforce. We're not willing to work for $3 a day or $3 an hour under the table. We want our $15, $20, $25, $30 an hour. And they know this. So the way that they circumvented that was to send those jobs over there to China, Taiwan, Korea, and other places around Asia. But now that's become too expensive, because what the Chinese have been doing, a lot of people don't know this, what the Chinese have been doing the last few years is their workers have been demanding higher wages. So these American companies that took your blue collar job or your daddy's blue collar job and sent it over there to China, they getting bold. They're like, hey, we ain't working for these $3 a day. Now we want $6 a day. And they ain't got no choice but to do it, but to pay them. You look online, do your research. They got to pay those Chinese more money. I had a company offer me a job to be their logistics director in China. I said, dude, I ain't living in no China. This was like 10, 12, 13 years ago. I was like, man, I ain't living in no China. It was like, well, you got a passport, right? I said, yeah, I got a passport. Well, all you got to do is get go to the Chinese consulate. What you talking about? I said, well, we offer you the job. We need you to live in China. I'm like, I ain't living in China, being that far away from my kids. You crazy. And they weren't paying that much money. Not for somebody that had an MBA. I just had an MBA at the time. I didn't have my master's in social work then. I was like, nah, dude, I'll pass. It was a waste of time. I was like, I ain't moving to no China. And China be making all this raggedy stuff, sending it back over here. Man, I've paid for so much Chinese made stuff that was just garbage off of Amazon. And I've had to send it right back to Amazon. I've bought stuff that had to be sent directly from China. And then it got here and it was garbage. And then when I go to send it back to Amazon, here the vendor up there talking about, in they broken English, write me an email talking about, we'll just keep it. There's no need to send it back. We'll just give you a refund. You know you selling garbage. Look at our economy. And again, the second indication that the fall of America is upon us is with this shutdown. Look how many do you know how much some of these people make that work for the federal government? Huh? You got GS 5, 7s, 9s, 11s, all these people sitting up here talking about they can't pay their bills. Now, you know good and well. Oh, man, come on. Tell me this thing about the freeze. Man, what's going on here? You know good and well. I've lost my train. You know good and well. You know good and well. You know good and well that you can't, that what's going on with our global economy as well as our domestic economy is not sustainable. You know that, right? You know that, right? Look at this government shutdown. Again, you got people up here making 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 a year. You mean to tell me you ain't putting none of your money aside for a rainy day? And now that it's raining, you don't have any money? Whose fault is that? Is that Trump's fault? No, that's your fault. I got relatives that work for the federal government, making 100-some thousand a year. And you know what they do? They go right over there to the Indian casino and blow all their money over there, giving them folks money. When I go to hotel casinos, you know what I do? I walk around and watch people throw their children's inheritance away, their grandchildren's inheritance away, and their retirement away. And they don't even win. How is it fun for you to sit in front of a slot machine and put $100 in there and win 5? Huh? How is that fun? Let me explain something to you. Nothing's fun to me unless I win. When I used to live in Minnesota, I used to go fishing with my cousins. And I used to get bored to death. I'd be like, man, what's the point in doing this if you ain't caught nothing? And then when they did catch fish, they were little tiny fish that they had to throw back out there. What's the point? I don't like wasting my time. I'm not a time-wasting person. Fishing has never made sense to me unless you talking about going up there to Canada where we can go get some big mouth bass, where it's guaranteed that you can go up there and catch a big fish this big and eat. I ain't fishing in none of these lakes around here in America. They ain't got no fish in them. Unless you go up here to Montana, you go up to an area like Montana, Idaho, places like that where ain't nobody living. Yeah, they got fish in the lakes. There ain't but 3 or 4 people living up there. And if you go up closer to the Canadian border, ain't nothing but forests up there. Ain't nobody live up there. But as you can see, America is broke. And the only way they deal with America being broke and Federal Reserve raising interest rates is to print more money. In some countries, that would be illegal. Y'all hear where y'all hear me knocking? Well, let me in. Real talk. Excuse me. Real talk, players. Real talk, man. Let's get real. And a lot of the feminist gains that Black women were able to take advantage of the last 40 years, now that's drying up. Because I think it's hilarious to look online and see all these welfare single moms sitting up there picketing and protesting that their EBT cards don't work. Okay? Their TANF money goes on that same EBT card. Guess what? They don't get that money either. Now, the illegal aliens who are on welfare, they're just going to sit in silence and eat and huddle together and get together and buy them tortillas. They'll find a way to get by. Black folks are the ones who will be sitting here starving because Black folks don't know how to feed themselves without welfare. I'm not talking about those of you brothers and sisters that work every day. I ain't talking to you, but I'm talking about our hood rat relatives who love welfare. Those folks are being affected majorly right now. And there's no end in sight. Because Trump ain't, what I love about Trump is he ain't giving in. And let me tell you something, the government, the USDA that funds SNAP, they only have enough money until next month. So even if they go and give some people some money, they can't give everybody money like they usually do. This is why we have to stop allowing single moms of any race to sit on their behinds and have all these illegitimate children and it just so they can sit on their behinds for 18 years and get child support and welfare. Yet there's no measure of accountability anywhere. You can go to women. Let me tell you how easy it is for a single mom and why single moms are now starting to complain about how they can't get over no more. See, the way most states are set up, even if there's not proof of paternity, they can go down there, even if you haven't signed the birth certificate, they can go down there and say you the daddy. Because I read threads of Black women. Listen to me, brothers. That's why I urge all brothers, I don't care if you're blue or white collar, wear a condom, especially when you deal with these hood rats. Because I've gotten with a lot of hood rats. And I'm going to tell you right now, sometime I wore something. I'm talking about back in the day. Sometime I wore something. Sometime I didn't. Now I wear them every time with all women. Even if they got a college degree, I still wear it. Because I don't want no more kids. Not by no American woman. Because they're poison. Look, Sean, let me say something to you. Men can't make babies without the woman. Just like the woman can't make a baby without a man, with the exception of her going to a fertility clinic and getting some sperm. You dig? Women who are single moms, brothers and sisters, are the main ones out here whining. Okay? Because they're the ones. Look here, Sean, you call me a nigga one more time. Call me that one more time and I'm going to block you. You hear me? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and take care of these comments you put on here, because I'm not gonna have you coming. I don't know who you think you talking to. I think you must think you talking to them to them weak simps you used to dealing with. I'm not one of them. You digs? But in almost every state, these women can go down there and lie on you and say you the daddy. And what will happen is they'll start taking money out your check. If you don't believe me, especially in California, ask your boy Neo. Neo had to pay over $300,000 to a thought that lied and said that his kid was his, that her kid was his. He still had to pay. And it wasn't his son. Y'all see how that works? See, when you a Captain Save-em-all and a simp, that's how you get done. Let me tell you something. Sean. Don't make me call you out your name, because you asking for it. Because you are one of these trifling single moms that I'm talking about. Real talk. Because you wouldn't be a single mom if you wouldn't be a single mom if you had something to offer. Single moms don't become single moms because they're decent women. They become single moms because they're unbearable and they use their vagina, they use their lady parts. They use their lady parts as a hourly motel and a small business. Anybody can get a pair of pants into the house. Anybody can get a pair of pants for a man, then call it a man. You have no husband. That's what counts. Having somebody to lay up in your bed a couple of nights a week ain't a husband. Go get a husband, then we'll talk. Moving along. And what they do is the state of that state will come after you. Been a while since I had a husband. I never had a husband, sweetheart. No issues over here. It's just that some black men have respect for themselves and they're tired of trifling single moms. Anyway, the state will start taking money out your check, and it's up to you. It is up to you to prove this ain't your kid. And by the way, thanks to Bill Clinton, they'll keep taking money out your check until, and guess what? You can't give. Let me block this clown. And you know what? And you have to prove that that's not your child. And that's why I keep telling brothers that don't have children with American women. Don't waste your time. Now, the brothers, if you got a wife or a girlfriend that's cooperating with you and helping you build your empire, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the brothers who have dealt with these schizoids, who don't bring anything to the table but use lazy parts. That's who I'm talking about. That's who I'm talking to. So if you're one of those brothers out here that I'm talking to, because let me explain something to you guys. The way this morphed into a podcast was when I had psychotherapy clients. When I had psychotherapy clients who would complain to me about how they get treated by black women. And I said, wait a minute here. This is a pattern here. That's when I started doing this podcast. So I'm not talking about my life. I'm talking about their lives. I'm talking about the hundreds and thousands of Black men that I have either been a psychotherapist for, or I'm currently a life coach for them now. I'm speaking for them. Because a lot of these brothers come from single female headed households where their mother emasculated them and punked them out. And now they're just a weak old simp that goes out here, spends all his money on single moms, just like his mama, because that's all he knows. That's why I'm proud to say I came from a two-parent family. I didn't come from no single female headed household. And I didn't want my kids coming from a single female headed household. But these traps, these bear traps are out there. These landmines and these bear traps are out here for you young brothers. And you got old brothers who are out here still making these same mistakes. It's so easy to get Trojans at Walgreens or Walmart or Target or the liquor store. Hell, they sell 3-packs. You gonna take a chance on your life? Black women are the largest new group of new cases of HIV and AIDS. Why? Because they're sleeping with these zaddies. A lot of these zaddies out here got AIDS. And because you got Black women out here who are so desperate for any white attention, they'll go get a zaddy with a felony on his record. Okay? They'll go get a zaddy with no money and then be out here saying Black men ain't about nothing. Or these Black men ain't got no money. And yet they'll go get with a zaddy who's got less than you got. So now you got all these single moms out here whining. Hey, I ain't got no money on my EBT card. Good. Now you'll get with a man, and instead of fighting him and call and trying to get white zaddy on him and working against him and turning his kids against him in his own home, now you gonna have to work with Black men or get your behind out there and start milking goats or milking cows. And pasteurizing your own milk so you can have something to drink. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I really seriously believe this shutdown is going to extend into February. And I'm telling you right now, these government agencies don't have some of them don't even have any money. So if you ain't in law enforcement or the military or the VA, you out of luck. You out of luck. And Trump ain't budging. And people up here trying to act like Trump is the first president that used his office, the office of the president, as a bully pulpit. I think under every recent president, there's been a shutdown. So let's stop. That's why I keep telling brother, like I said, the fall of America, which really translates to the fall of white supremacy, is upon us. And now these people are desperate. If you thought these Caucasian males were out here robbing and stealing and doing the things that they've been known to be doing up here in these areas where there's all these white drug addicts, you better think again. If you live in Dallas or you live in Houston, you're going to start seeing a whole lot more drug addict, Caucasian people breaking in houses, because they do that up here all day, every day. They do that up here big time, breaking in people. They be, you know, I find it's hilarious for me to turn on the news and see Caucasians, male and female, some of them are Bonnie and Clyde teams, breaking in good Christian white folks' houses, stealing. Remember, they said only black people steal. Remember that? We know that not to be true because you stole a whole country. And now that Walmart Tavius wants to go and sell a little hay or sell a couple of rocks or do some home invasions, now you're going to sit up here and tell us that, oh, now you got to give folks lenient sentences. So if you don't, let me explain something to you, people. Robotics. I said this in the first live stream and we got cut off. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to you. Black people, if you have children who are in elementary and middle school, you better be steering them towards STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. You either better be steering them towards STEM. If you want them to go to college and at least get an undergraduate degree, or you better start teaching them how to be an entrepreneur right now and just have them take, like I said, take accounting 1 and 2, have them, and you take this at a community college, accounting 1 and 2, micro, macro economics, political science, so they can understand how the state and how the, city, municipal, county, state, and federal governments work in this country, if they don't already know. Intro to business. And there might be a couple other classes, but those are the main ones. Don't let your children, I don't care if you got boys at home or girls at home, don't let your kids graduate from high school talking about they're going to go to college and major in gender studies or something nonsense. Today, right now, the way everything's set up, Black men have an opportunity to become entrepreneurs and start building the wealth that we should have built years ago. Because right now, you have to understand, everybody that has the mentality of entitlement, Black women and most of these white supremacists in this country, all of them are hurting right now. Why? Because they've been spoiled. And now everybody's getting tribal. And that's why if you look at Facebook, you got a whole bunch of young brothers talking about MGTOW. I don't even date. What do you think that's going to do to the population? The white feminists needed Black women for numbers. But once the money start rolling in, who got the checks? The white-owned nonprofits. Just like with this Me Too thing. That big ham hock nose, whatever her name is, the so-called founder of Me Too. She actually ain't even the founder. She just started a hashtag, Me Too. That's all she did. And then the white feminists said, we can use this. And they stuck her behind out there to be the face of Me Too. And then when the checks start coming in, she got nothing. And then she was online whining, talking about they just pretty much just buffaloed her and bulldozed over her. And she ain't even profiting from it. She had the nerve to be complaining about that in an interview. Les Moonves, who was the CEO of CBS Entertainment, when he got his severance, CBS decided, the board of directors decided to give $20 million to the Me Too movement. Now, those of you who are indiscriminating folks who don't utilize critical thinking skills, you would read that headline and think that the Me Too movement was an actual company, and it's not. They listed all of these white-owned nonprofits who are getting the majority of that money, $1 million here, $1 million there, and a black nonprofit, or actually, one black nonprofit. Guess how much money they got? $500,000. All the other white nonprofits got at least $1 million, if not $2 or $3 million from that $20 million. Y'all see where I'm going with this? That's why all these black women that call themselves feminists, they're gonna get exposed as race traders, because that's really what they are. Because these you got to understand about these angry black women. These women, first of all, they can't get a decent man at this stage in life. Oh, they can get a pair of pants. Or they can get a simp. They get some old broke simp. Or they can get some broke trick to come over and trick a little of his $8 an hour money from his job. Yeah, maybe he might come over there with a blunt and smoke that with him. But that's about all they get. But they ain't gonna get no man, no successful man like on my level or you guys' level. Why? Because you're spoiled milk. You're already on the floor. You're spoiled milk. Ain't no self-respecting black man gonna kneel down on the floor and get a straw and suck up spoiled milk off the floor. I don't care how clean your floor is. And these single moms, that's why they get mad. That's why this person that keep getting in the chat room posting a bunch of negative stuff, that's why she mad. Don't nobody want no single mom. I don't. I pump and dump single moms. That's all you get. And if you show up thinking you're going to get something for free the initial time, guess what I say to them? Hey, you don't mind paying for your dinner, do you? What, you ain't got enough money in your little debit card? What, you ain't got enough money on your little green dot card? Man, get out of here. The topic is the fall of America, Cyntoia Brown fraud, and preview of the Player Circle podcast for tomorrow, Saturday. But this start, man, there's some people hurting out here, dog. They hurting. Because these single moms have been spoiled all this time, getting free welfare, getting Section 8, getting all these free gutter trinkets. And now that all that is drying up, now women gonna have to go back to where they were 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And that's working with a man. Now, if you're already 30, 40, 50 years old and you're already a single mom, the chances of that working for you is I was gonna say slim to none. It's none. Unless you get somebody on your same socioeconomic level. You have to understand, brothers. Let me say this. I'm going to stay on this feminist thing for a minute, and then we're going to get back on the fall of America. Brothers, you have to understand something. And brothers, if you have sons, teenage sons, you need to warn them about this kind of stuff. You need to sit down and have this conversation with them. Because if you don't, your son is going to bring home some single mom that got a banging body, but she got kids by all these different men. And then you're going to be looking at your son like, son, what you doing? Oh, I love her, Dad. And ain't nothing you can say about it. Ain't nothing you can do about it because she already done got him sprung on that used lady, on them used lady parts. Ain't nothing you can do about it, player. But hope your son is strapped up and wearing something. Hopefully. But a lot of you guys are leaving your kids' decisions up to chance. I advise you not to do that. I've been telling my sons that you need to be careful. There's a whole lot of women out here waiting to get 18 years of child support out of you. I looked at a thread that a brother posted on my other Facebook page, and it was these hood rat black women discussing how one of them got pregnant by a D-boy or some old gutter rat like herself. And then she went and pinned the baby on a brother that had a job. And she was joking, her and all these other hood rat single moms were joking about how that was that's funny. Ha ha, that's what he get. Because a lot of guys won't do a DNA test. I tell guys all the time, if you don't do a DNA test before the 24th month, that child is yours for the rest of them years. You're going to be paying child support on a child that even after you got DNA tested, found out it ain't yours. Guess what? The court is like, well, he don't know nothing but you as his daddy. You see where I'm going with this, guys? This is why we have to start. This is why tomorrow's show on Players Circle is, should black men leave most American black women behind and go get foreign women? That's our topic for tomorrow. So if you want to be down with the cause and you want to be down and you want to be in the place to be, subscribe to my Mad Voodoo Man channel on YouTube, or subscribe to my other Facebook page, because I'm not doing Player Circle podcast on this channel anymore, or on this Facebook page, because I'm not getting any support. All you get is kick in the pants videos on this platform. But you see what kind of race traitorous black women we deal with? They don't care about us, brothers. They are selfish, and they don't even care about their children. All they do is leverage their children to get benefits, either out of a simp or out of the government. And now that that's coming to an end, now all these hood rats are scrambling around. Let's see if black women will continue to have bad attitudes like they've been having. Let's see how that works out for them. Because if you notice, have you ever seen Caucasian, Asian, East Indian, or Latino women in public trashing their men? Have you ever seen that, or crapping on their men? I haven't seen any of these other communities. And you know why black women are the only women who are getting the brakes beat off of them by Asian salon owners and beauty supply owners, and Arab men beating them down, and Indian men beating them down in their stores? You know why you see that? It's because single moms do not have the protection of black men. Rightfully so. I am not going to put my life on the line for a single mom. If a white man is mopping your face and your dirty, stinking weave on the concrete, you can best believe I'm just going to take out my iPhone or my Samsung phone, start recording, and say, World star. World star. I ain't helping you. I ain't engaging that dude. You wonder why you wonder why Caucasian women ain't getting beat on in public? You wonder why Asian women ain't getting beat on in public? You know why East Indian women ain't getting getting their brakes beat off of them? You know why? And you know why Latinas ain't getting the brakes beat off of them by these people? Because their men protect them. Because the only women who will be protected are women who submit to their men. And all those other groups that I mentioned submit to their men, except for American Black women. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the chat room. Let me read y'all an article, if I can find it, that was written. Damn, I can't get it. I can't get to it. Damn. I was going to read y'all an article about this college-educated white feminist or ex-feminist who talked about how she's in her early 50s and can't find a husband. And there's a whole, and it ain't just because of her age why she can't find a husband. Because she was a decent looking woman. She was in shape. She works out. She was actually on a scale of 1 to 10, she was about a 6. She was decent looking. She had a decent body. She was definitely girlfriend material, appearance wise. But don't nobody want don't nobody want somebody that's gonna be bossing them. Let me tell you something. Men on my level ain't gonna tolerate single moms. Now we might we can hang out, we can have a good time, but I'm not gonna take care of you financially. That will never happen. If you want to go see a movie or something, if you want to go, go somewhere and get a drink, but you can best believe, please believe, you ain't going nowhere with me where I'm spending money on the date and you haven't broke bread with the lady parts. If I ain't hitting it, you ain't getting it. That's real talk. And whenever I meet women who don't subscribe to that, I delete their number on my phone. It's just that simple. I don't waste my time. Look, I tell guys all the time in my boot camp, in my dating boot camp, and I'm writing my new book, The Dating Bible. And by the way, if you haven't got my first book, go get my first book. You can get it at asktheiceman.com or you can get it at amazon.com. It's called The Game of Life According to the Iceman Volume 1. My second book is called The Dating Book. And it's all dating. That book is like, I talk about white supremacy. I talk about Tulsa. I talk about all that stuff. I talk about feminism. But I do talk about dating in that book too. But dating in that book, in this book, the second book I'm writing starts off where this book leaves off. So if you don't have that book and you buy my second book, you're going to kind of be lost. Black single moms got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel. And it's going to get worse because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of brothers are tired of these single moms. I'm telling you right now. Okay? If you ain't Sierra and you got millions of dollars, you ain't getting no man. Not no man that got a backbone. Now you can get a simp. You can get a trick to come over there and trick his little money off on you. But again, all they want is some booty. They want steady booty. But simps want a woman they can walk around with. But again, most simps are ugly. Most simps are overweight. And if you do get a simp that's good looking, he has no confidence in himself. That's why what's his name? Steve Harvey talks about that. Think like a man, think like a simp, act like a trick. That's why he's making so much money. He's giving these women bad information. I wish you would try to make a real man, a man that demands respect. I wish you would tell him he got to wait 60 days or 90 days to get some. I guarantee he will disappear like Houdini. Real talk. Let's keep it 100. Matter of fact, let's keep it $150. See, single moms don't want to hear this talk because, I'm not one of these simps or one of these tricks praising their lady parts. You a queen. Yeah, you a queen with no queendom and no subjects. The single mom hustle is over with, thanks to Donald Trump. And you know what? All you Democrats sitting up here hoping Donald Trump gets impeached, it ain't gonna happen because 2/3 of the Senate have to convict him. You got Democrats that said they're not going to convict him because it's embarrassing to impeach a president. I lived through the Nixon era, and it was embarrassing to have a sitting president get convicted of a felony. You can't impeach the president unless he is convicted. So you got to get 67 of the 100 senators. And do you really think they're going to get that many? No. Especially since the Senate is controlled by Republicans. But Trump is still trying to cover his behind by passing that criminal justice bill. Why? Because he wants to first, there's two reasons why they passed that. The first reason is because of these Caucasians out here committing crime all over the country because there's no jobs. And you have to understand where, like up here where I live at, most of these Caucasians around here are blue collar, lower income people. Most of them are. Most of them live out here in the country. If you come up here where I live at, you swear to God, you think you somewhere around in Georgia somewhere. That's how country it is up here. Most of these Caucasoids up here ain't got nothing. Let me just leave it at that. They have nothing but their guns. They ain't going to school. They want to sit around and get high. So if you want to sit around and get high, how you going to get high without finding the money to pay for them drugs? So what you got to do, you got to start stealing. So down here in Portland, they be down here, these Caucasians down here be jacking people. It ain't brothers out there doing that. It's these Caucasian females and males doing that, breaking in people's businesses and houses. That's why I don't even watch the news no more. First of all, they news is lame anyway, coming out of Portland, because Portland's a lame city anyway. But in the near future, I'll be in Seattle. But the single mother baby daddy, baby mama hustle is coming to an end. Because if they can't get, like I said, before I got cut off the first 2 times, Trump is cutting that welfare. Why? Because they cut the corporate tax, what, to 21%? They cut taxes for anybody who's upper class. And I know what they told you in econ class. Well, when if the rich get a tax cut, that means they invest money in hiring more people to help make them more money. No! They take the money and they sock it over there in the Swiss bank or the Cayman Islands or some other secret bank. They don't even spend it. The middle class is left to carry the whole tax burden in this country. And if they cut taxes for the rich, and let me tell you something. What did Obama do? All you Obama fans. He said he was going to raise taxes on the top 1%. What did he ultimately do? Raise taxes on the middle class. And now that the middle class is shrinking, where's that money going to come from? I tell you where it's going to come from. It's going to come from the welfare programs. It's going to come from all these earmarks that Pelosi has helped with her feminist agenda. All the white nonprofits that get the billions of dollars from earmarks, that he going to cut that. He going to cut that. You have to understand, when O.J. Simpson was accused of killing his ex-wife and that young man, Caucasian women start pushing this agenda that black men are domestic abusers and black men want to rape white women. That's when that started. If you go online right now, there are white nonprofits advertising on Yahoo, talking about your right to choose is coming. It may come to an end under Trump. Donate today. And they got all these white women standing there with their fists up in the air. Don't let Roe v. Wade get ended under Trump. Donate today. What does donating millions of dollars to a nonprofit have to do with Roe v. Wade? Huh? Come on, player. It's a money grab. This R. Kelly fiasco is a money grab. And people like George Soros and Ed Buck and all these other perverted, undercover perverts who are on the left, who are multi-million dollars and billionaires, millionaires and billionaires, these people are financing that crap. Black Lives Matter was started by 2 lesbian black women, funded by George Soros. Why was Black Lives Matter started? Because of the killing of black children and young black men. And yet you go to the Black Lives Matter website right now, you will see no references to black men. And you brothers are sitting up here caping for black women. This is how they treat us, brothers. They will go on the other side and cape for the white supremacists. So now you got white supremacists, males and females, on your behind, as well as your own black women. So those of you who are married and you got caring, loving, supportive black women in your home, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking about the baby mamas and the single moms out here who have made a career out of crapping on black men and getting welfare trinkets. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Not your wife. And I'm not saying all black women are this way, but I am saying most of them are. Most black women in America are damaged goods, and they cannot be repaired. It's like having a broken transistor radio from your childhood and you 60. Try to find a place to fix it. Good luck with that, player. That's why I say, if you're a bachelor like me and I'm in my mid-50s, I ain't worried about nothing when it comes to women. Because women come to, I'm not saying I'm all that. I'm not saying I'm all that. But because women smell money on me, they come to me. And when they figure out that I ain't one of these black men that go around simping and tricking, they either disappear on their own or I do a Houdini, because I have a rule. And I tell my guys in my dating one-on-one class, I tell them, hey, dog, if you don't hit them skins between 3 to 7 days or before then, it ain't going to ever happen. Because when you look at a woman, you know within the first second whether or not you want to smash. So if you see some old slew-footed 5'2", 300-pound woman coming towards you with run over house shoes on, time out, come on here, I need to get some cigarettes. Come on here. Come on here. Come on in here, Walmart Tavius. Come on here, I can get this cigarette. Okay? When you see that with dirty pajama bottoms on at the convenience store, you just going in there to get a Gatorade. You just went to the gym, you ain't got no Gatorade. You like, man, let me go ahead and get a little Gatorade. And you see that coming towards you. You know within the first millisecond that you ain't trying to hit that. And just like you know that, when women look at us, they know within those few seconds whether they want to smash us or not. So let's cut the crap. If you've been talking to a woman for a month and you ain't hit it yet, it ain't never gonna happen. Trust me. I don't get put in the friend zone because I don't allow myself to get put in the friend zone. I ain't all things to all women, and I ain't trying to be. I have a lane and I stay in it. You digs? You can play them games if you want to. But let me explain something to you. The black man is in a privileged position to gain traction on these white supremacists. We have to do three things. We have to start acquiring land. We have to start collectively putting together capital. And we need to use that, and we need to use those liquid assets to buy land and property. That's what it's coming down to. Chinese corporations are buying up American houses by the thousands right now. Why do you think they're doing that? I'm going to let that marinate for a minute. Black men have no resources because we've been playing around for the past 50 years. And time is up. It's time to get tribal, and it's time to get on point. And all this vitriol that black men have against each other, all this hating, all this, like I said, we're going to have to start leaving people behind. All these black women that ain't on code with us, leave them in the hood. because that's where they're going to be. Let all the alligators eat each other. Okay? We need land, capital, and businesses. The days of working in the GM plant and raising your kids on that is over with, brothers. Stop looking for jobs. Start making one. That's what I did. I created my own lane. I created my own job. I ain't got to depend on nobody. I don't have to have a woman living in this house. I don't need her income. I don't need none of that. The very next woman that I'm with in a relationship, I'm paying all the bills. She ain't got to do anything. Now, if she want to keep her job and get her retirement, which I suggest she do, then that's one thing. But if she's living with me, I'm paying every bill. That includes her bills and mine. Why? Because I'm a man, and if you want to be the boss, you got to pay the cost. Those of you men who ain't making enough to take care of your woman, that's why you got problems. Because she really don't want to go to work. There is no such thing as a 50-50 relationship. The man has to take care of 100% of the finances. How could she be a woman if she's helping you pay to be a man? You supposed to be the man. But at the same time, brothers, she has to be worthy of me paying 100% of the bill. If she's a stank, you know what? I'm not, first of all, she ain't even gonna get that far. Because see, I have a foolproof system that I started in this book that I'm explaining it ad nauseum in the dating book. And that is how to weed out women who are not worthy of my love, respect, and money. It's taken me a minute to build what I have today. And I'm not going to let no woman on nowhere. I don't care if they foreign. I'm not letting a woman from anywhere ruin that. Real talk. Your woman, let me tell you something. The only woman who should have access to your money is your wife. Girlfriends don't count unless she's living with you. But you need to have an understanding with her. Say, look, baby, if we go get this crib, I'm paying all the bills. But you got to be the lady in the relationship. If you can't keep your legs closed, if you're going to be out here talking about girls' night out every week, we're not, because you're supposed to be past girls' night out. If you talking about having a boyfriend or a husband, you need to be past girls' night out. Because notice they never go to girls' night out in sweatpants. They go to girls' night out with the tightest stuff they can find. Pants so tight, you can see they blood circulating. Because that's how you met her, remember? Now you letting her go out to the club and to the bars with her girlfriend and all of them dressed like skanks? And you cool with that? All she doing is looking for your replacement. She ain't trying to have a girls' night out. She's trying to look for your replacement. I don't tolerate that girls' night out if we are in a relationship and it's a few months in. I don't tolerate that. If you got to be with your girlfriends like that, you don't need me. See, black men have to start having standards. The reason why black women are as pathetic as they are today is because we allowed it. We took the integration pill and we bought it into integration and decided instead of building black businesses like we had during segregation, we decided it was more advantageous to work at GM and Ford and get corporate jobs. And now that the white supremacist empire is dying, who you think they're going to fire first and lay off first and downsize first? Us. So if you haven't built your businesses and economy, then you're going to starve. Asians don't depend on corporate America. The only other group that depends on corporate America is Latinos. And they're going to start hurting in a minute too. Because if there are no jobs, they're not going to have a job. You have to understand, here's how job preference works. Is white males get their jobs first, then white females, then black females. You see how that works? And you notice a lot of black women work for the federal government, and Trump is already starting to eliminate certain federal jobs. So all that smack talking that black women have been doing for the past 40 years, talking about black men ain't this, black men ain't that, that's going to end. Because those black women are going to have to come back to black men hat in hand. Okay? Like Mr. Bojangles. Hat in hand. You digs? All this getting welfare and living off the system stuff is over with. It's over with. It's a wrap. The welfare game is a wrap. The only people that the federal government is willing to half take care of is veterans. The rest of y'all, and our money comes out of Congress. Our money don't come out the budget. So while all the EBT cards and all the folks on welfare, all the folks that, all these federal employees, guess what? They didn't get their money. But guess who did? You guessed it. All of us disabled veterans in military. All of us got our money. That money hit my account even before the first. That's why I tell women, I can go get a VA loan and buy a house if I wanted to, which I don't. I can put you on my benefit plan and you get free medical. We can go on any military base, Navy, Marines, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard. We can go on any base and stay for little or nothing. I can take you to the BX and all that stuff that you can pay it, go to Macy's and pay this or to pay that for. We can go over there and get that stuff for 40% off. 50% off. But you ain't getting none of that. And plus, with my businesses, I make money. I can take you over to the commissary. I've had women say, well, take me to the commissary so I can shop. I know I can save some money. I'm like, you got to break bread first. I ain't just taking you on base. And you don't have an ID card. I do, though. I got an ID card, but you don't. Oh. Only way you going to get on base with me is if you my fiance or you my wife. I ain't taking no somebody I'm just messing with. See, when you have standards, You don't give up the candy store. You don't give up the candy store. You just, here's a piece of candy. And when they reach for it, you snatch it back. Because they gotta earn it. They gotta earn their right for me to say, okay, you good enough to get an ID card. I did that one time and I made a mistake. I ain't making a second mistake. Because next time it's gonna be on me. The first time I got lied to. Second time, joke's on me. If I decide to get one of these ungrateful hood rats of any race on my team. Now, I want to talk about this Cyntoia Brown fraud. You got Kim Kardashian, you got all these Me Too people celebrating the subsequent release of this Cyntoia Brown. And you got all these black feminists just running their mouth. Just, oh, this is such a beautiful thing. This girl shouldn't have been in prison in the first place. Let me break down why that girl deserves to get the death penalty and should have got the death penalty. First of all, this little hood rat, and that's what she is, a criminal convict hood rat. First of all, her mama white, daddy black. I think the mama put her up, something happened, and she ended up in the foster care system. She was fortunate enough to get a foster family who was very caring and non-abusive. She didn't like rules. She didn't want to be square. So what did she do? She started running away. And the last time she finally ran away and stayed, she was out there trying to sell drugs and was struggling doing that. She ended up meeting that dude Cutthroat, her boy, which I was explaining why that he was not her pimp. Look, I'm a street person. Okay? Straight from the ghetto. So you ain't gonna see hood rats can't see. You can't put no article online talking about trying to act like this girl's innocent. And I know good and well she's a cold, calculating killer. Let me break it down for you. She meets this dude Cutthroat. He's a hustler. Now, if you know anything about hustlers, because I've lived around hustlers and I was a hustler. Okay? Don't let the college degrees fool you. I had to get out here on these streets and hustle. Hustlers are men and women who dabble in everything. They don't just pimp women. They don't just sell drugs. They don't just rob and steal. They might do all of it. That's the one classification that makes Cutthroat not a pimp, because he was not pimping her. They were running a Bonnie and Clyde scheme. She was already selling snatch before he met her. And she was doing it voluntarily. They both came up with a way to scam tricks. Now, this Caucasian dude, this veteran dude that she ultimately killed. I'm going to fast forward over a whole bunch of stuff because I wasn't planning on being on here this long. So I'm going to hurry up and run through this. The reason why Cutthroat is to me is proven that he is her boyfriend and not her pimp. Because the first reason is because she was selling booty before she met him at 16, 15, 16 years old. Okay? She was doing all of this to avoid living in a loving home. This is why you got to stop feeling sorry for females like this. That's why you guys have to stop putting the cape on and trying to save these skanks. Let me fast forward. Her and Cutthroat was selling crack. They were selling weed. They were selling anything they can get their hands on. They were stealing. They were, I don't know if they were jacking people, but they were, I don't know if, and I really don't know if they were burglarizing people's businesses and homes, but I wouldn't put it past them. Anyway, fast forward to the dude she ended up killing. Here's how you know her life was not in jeopardy. She met him at a Sonic. How many tricks do you think a prostitute would meet at a restaurant if they haven't done business with this guy more than once? I'll let that marinate for a second. They got something to eat. Let me explain to you about the streets and how prostitutes operate. Prostitutes do not sit around and have jibber jabber with a trick if they don't know him. Let me say that again. Prostitutes do not eat and conversate with tricks. They get in there, first of all, you got to get a trick, break a trick, and then get money and leave. That's how it works. In a trick, you don't pay a woman to stay, you pay her to leave. You digs? That's the first indication that this was probably a weekly thing. Probably this last time, they probably discussed jacking this dude. Why? Because when they did a search of the home, they found that his guns were missing. They found that a lot of other items, valuable items in the home were missing. Now, if your life is in danger, would you go around and pilfer through somebody's belongings looking for something you can pawn and steal, or steal and then pawn, or fence? No. That's the second indication that her life wasn't in danger and she wasn't being pimped. The third indication that this was premeditated murder is that after they ate their food at his house, they watched TV, and then they did the do. And then she said they went to sleep. How many tricks who's trying to physically assault a woman gonna turn their back and go to sleep with this woman, with this prostitute in his house? So right there, that tells you he knows her well enough and trusts her well enough to have her in his living space, which most tricks are not going to do. They're gonna say, okay, do you have a room? Okay, we'll go to your room. Okay, I have a room. Let's go to my room. Okay, let's just do this in my truck. That's how most tricks get down. They don't have the woman come to their house. I'm just keeping it $150. He went to sleep with this girl laying next to him. She said because he got PTSD, he's an Iraq war vet, so he didn't sleep very well. So she said he kept getting up. And the last time he laid down next to her, he turned his head away from her, and the back of his head was exposed. The fourth thing you got to look at, indication that this was premeditated murder. She had a gun already on her. So her and Cutthroat, here's how you know Cutthroat wasn't her pimp. They came up with a plan to kill this dude. Now, if he had been beating on her, do you really think he would have laid down and went to sleep with her laying in the bed next to him? Come on, player. If you a self-respecting man, you know good and well ain't no man gonna do that. I don't care if you ain't never purchased tail, which most of us have at one time or another. You know the game don't work like that. So they decided that they were going to either jack him or kill him. So she took the gun out when he went to sleep the last time. She took the gun out and shot him in the back of the head. Now, anybody, you don't have to be CSI, you don't have to be law enforcement. But I know as a disabled vet, a combat vet, I know for a fact, if you shoot somebody in the head, they weren't expecting it. So that lets you know right there, that's the fourth indication that that was premeditated murder. The fifth indication that this was premeditated, I've already said, they took all his guns. They took other valuable things from his home, and they took their time. The sixth indication that this was premeditated, when they busted in, when the Tennessee law enforcement officials, I guess it was Nashville police, when they busted into the hotel room that her and Cutthroat was staying in, he was laying on the bed and she was in the bathroom. They busted in there and they said, "You're under arrest for the murder of such and such." Guess what? This is the main thing this is the main indication that this man was not her pimp, but her boyfriend. So what? He was older than her. When they got ready to arrest him, she came out the bathroom and said, "No, no, no, I did it." Does that sound like how many prostitutes do you know would go to jail for murder for their pimp? I'll wait. Understands me? That's the main issue here. That lets you know that Cutthroat was her boyfriend and not her pimp. If you a street cat, you know that. Ain't no prostitute gonna go to jail for no pimp. Not for no murder. Solicitation of prostitution, yes. Murder one in a death penalty state? No. You'd be hard pressed to find a prostitute who's willing to do that. She probably mentally retarded. Something wrong with her. She said, I did it. Now she did 15 years, and now they talking about, oh, she need to get let out. What for? Let me explain something to you. Do you know how much time it takes to teach somebody to be a trained killer? Everybody's different. Let me tell you how much of an emotional and mental toll grabbing a gun and shooting somebody if you're a normal individual. When I was in Iraq, the first time I went on patrol, which was at night, the next day, during that time, I messed myself. Now, nobody told me that was going to happen. But this is what happens the first time you get put in a position where you might possibly have to take somebody else's life. I was out there cleaning my underwear with Tide. Everybody that went on patrol that night was out there cleaning their drawers too, because the same thing happened to them. Okay? Some people, when they get put in a position where they have to start shooting, they get paralyzed. They're just sitting there just like this. They're in shock. So for her to shoot that dude in the back of the head, a defenseless guy in the back of the head that's no threat to her. Remember, she said it was self-defense at first. But the detectives say, lady, try again. You shot that man in the back of the head. He wasn't a threat to you. Plus, the autopsy came back and said he was asleep. See, people are dumb. A lot of people are dumb. Criminals are dumb. That's why they're criminals. Because they can't go out there and function normally like the rest of us. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So she had to change her lie. For her to shoot that dude in the back of the head like that, I guarantee that's not the first time she did it. She's a 16-year-old woman. Cold-blooded killer. And they talking about letting her out in August. She's a street cat. She's a street alley cat. She is not a square like some of you who get up every day and go work a square job and come home to your little square life. That ain't her. That's why she ran away from home. And you mean to tell me because she was in prison for 15 years that she's a changed individual? Highly unlikely. Because for somebody to be, when I was 16 years old, The last thing I ever thought about was shooting somebody in the back of the head. Think about when you were 16 years old and you, especially if you were a girl, you was giggling about boys. You might have probably had your first boyfriend. You probably had sex for the first time on average. The last thing you thinking about is shooting a trick in the back of the head. So that right there tell you how far gone that girl is. There's a certain detachment that you have to have as a killer. And that's what they teach us in the military. When you shoot somebody, you can't be standing there talking about, oh man, I shot that guy. No, you got to cap that dude and move on to the next one. And detaching yourself like that does damage to you permanently. Not to mention the shock that is put upon your body to function under that kind of stress. And you talking about somebody that's not in the military out here killing people. There's no telling how high that girl's body count is. She just happened to get caught that time. And they assumed it was her boyfriend that killed dude, not her. Although I'm quite sure they did find her DNA in his house. Because I know she wasn't walking around with plastic gloves on, with rubber gloves on. Remember, she was eating in his house. So she's been over there before. See, brothers, you have to understand, this is a feminist ploy because a precedent is being set with her being left out or her being let out of prison. Now, she's getting let out in August of this year. She'll be on probation for 10 years. She cannot consume any drugs and alcohol. She has to get a job. That's the third thing. And the fourth thing, which is, goes without saying, she cannot break the law. She can't even get a parking ticket. After listening to what I just told you about this girl or woman, do you really think she's going to be able to get out of prison and stay on the straight and narrow for 10 years? I'll wait. I guarantee and within 6 months, they'll be violating her back to prison for the rest of her life where she belongs. She is a broken individual, broken spiritually and probably mentally too. All because she wanted to find the easy way out in life. But even though the governor of Tennessee is granting her clemency, that does not void her conviction. Remember, she's going to be a convicted felon. What kind of job do you think this girl going to be able to get? What kind of job do you think this girl going to be able to get with her record? Oh, yeah, she'll probably find some feminists out there that'll give her a couple of coins. But after a while, all the media attention and all the, you know, the documentaries being made and all the people writing books on her and all everybody that's trying to profit off of her unfortunate life. After all that plays out, she's gonna be on her own, and she's gonna go right back to what she knows, which is the hood. Because after a while, she's going to get tired of working at, you know, Circle K, making minimum wage, and dudes coming in there talking crazy to her. Because she ain't going to be able to get buck. She can't get buck. She's going to have to be on the straight and narrow for 10 years. That 10 years, a lot of people don't understand. Those of you who have never worked in the criminal justice system like I have, let me tell you something. It's hard to be on probation for 3 months because you can keep it straight, and then that 89th day, you sitting in traffic, it's hot, you're already irritated, you maybe your car's giving you problems, and then one of these white supremacists decide they want to hit your bumper or toot at you from behind. And what do? You decide to go ahead and get buck. Guess what happens after you've gone beyond the point of no return? You get your car towed, you lose your job, whatever crib you got, you lose, and you get violated back to prison to do the rest of your sentence. That girl does not deserve to be let out of prison. I don't know what wheels that Kim Kardashian and them had to grease, but this is setting a dangerous precedent that you can go out here and kill a man, shoot a man in the back of the head. You can go out here and sell coochie and because of feminism, people should feel sorry for you. How many boys, black boys, are sitting in prison right now because they were with somebody who killed somebody? They didn't even do nothing, but they got convicted based on association, and they're sitting in a prison cell for 50 years, no parole. I don't see any of these feminists, especially Kim Kardashian, caping for any of these black boys. And you have to understand, they're using Cyntoia Brown. That's why it's a fraud. They're using her. Because after people get tired of talking about her, guess what? Again, guess what's going to happen? She going to go back to what she knows. Some hood dude is going to roll up on her and tell her, hey, girl, we get this money. And she's going to be right back out there in them streets. I guarantee within 2 years, she'll be back in prison where she belongs. Now, what you might take what I say as harsh, but if you've been listening to me the past half hour and you got critical thinking skills, you're probably saying the same thing I said when I heard the whole story. This girl is not innocent. She was well beyond her years at 16. And she used that maturity to go out here and be a criminal and a murderer. You digs? Tomorrow, our topic for the Player Circle podcast will be, should black men leave most American black women alone and go get foreign women? That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. If you want to be in the place, go to here's my Facebook. Here is my my channel on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube so you don't get left out. That's my channel, Mad Voodoo Man. Follow us on Twitter at the Iceman Show, at Mr. Freeze. Instagram is the Iceman Show. We're doing the triple cast tomorrow. We're going to be on Blog Talk Radio, my other Facebook page, and YouTube live stream. We're doing the triple cast. The only place you can get the triple cast is right here on the Player Circle podcast and the Iceman Show podcast. You digs? If you want to support the show, please go to scroll down to the donate button that's connected directly to my nonprofit, and go from there. It's set up with PayPal, so all you got to do, you don't even have, you can do a guest PayPal transaction, or you can use your email, your debit card, and set up a PayPal account. I always suggest everybody should have a PayPal presence, because if you want to do e-commerce, I trust PayPal. I've dealt with other companies that did online financial transactions, and PayPal is the best. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're better than all the other ones, and they're cheaper than all the other ones. Now, I got Square.com on my iPad and my iPhone for, business transactions. Like if I've run into a frat brother and they want to buy a book directly for me that I got right there, then I could just run their card right there through Square.com. And, they're a couple cent more than PayPal, but, I use them too. But get my book. If you don't have the Iceman's book, go get my first book, The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1. You can get it at AskTheIceman.com. Go down, scroll down to Add to Cart, and then you can purchase it there. Or I will sign it for you too. Or you can go to Amazon.com and get one of all three versions. Let me explain something to you, brothers. You brothers and sisters that got boys and girls at home who are teenagers, you need to get this book for them. Okay? Because you need to start building critical thinking skills in your children so they don't go out here and be stupid. Because just black folks, we got to get out of this mentality that all you got to do is go to college and you're considered smart. I know a whole lot of dumb, educated people. Okay? Teach your kids critical thinking skills. Teach them how to look with that third eye and be able to figure things out. Because if they don't build that skill, they're going to get devoured by these white supremacists. You understand me? Because their kids even if they don't have critical thinking skills, they can always rely on white supremacy. That's their fallback. You have no fallback. Black people, it's just us. It's just us, man. We ain't got no allies. There ain't no people of color alliance. None of these other people are going to cape for you. So while you're down there crying and boo-hooing and foaming at the mouth for children being separated at the border, none of those people are crying for your children that get murdered in the street. Huh? And while you're caping for illegal immigrants who are breaking into your country illegally, all of them are calling you the N-word. And all of you brothers out there that that are who are only concerned about getting some interracial sex, those days are over with. Okay, whatever transpired in the early 2000s with social media and then online dating, getting you some Latina booty or getting you some Caucasian booty, them days are over with. Everybody's getting racially tribal. You need to get tribal too if you want to survive. You tuned into the Iceman Show. I'm your host, the Iceman. Go by AskTheIceman.com to support the cause. Remember, Players Circle podcast tomorrow. Our topic will be, should black men leave black women behind, and should black men go for foreign women? Hey, let me tell you something. The broadcast starts promptly at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Don't meet me there, beat me there.